If we look at the box office returns from 2024, we'll see that most of the releases were derivatives of legacy properties and/or were entirely box office flops. Now, there was speculation that movies would underperform this year because of the SAG-AFTRA strike in 2023, but that's just a poor excuse and not true. Many of these 2024 films have been in production for years, so the strike didn't have much to do with it at all. They failed, on their own merits, to capture a paying audience. And when we look closer, what films did work? What made money? Inside Out 2, a return-to-form Pixar film for families. Deadpool and Wolverine, nostalgia slap with a contrived story. Despicable Me 4, the 6th or 7th entry in the Minion-verse, again for families. Dune Part 2, a sequel in a book-to-film adaptation series. Godzilla x Kong, a fast food film in the same vein as Michael Bay's Transformers with big monsters punching each other. Kung Fu Panda 4, derivative children's film, sequel legacy property. Beetlejuice 2, sequel legacy property. Bad Boys Ride or Die, sequel legacy property. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, sequel legacy property. Twisters, sequel legacy property. You see what I'm getting at. This is the top 10 of the box office as of right now. You know what I don't see? Original ideas. And that's nothing new. The cinemas have been plagued with legacy property sequel slop for decades, and most of these properties did not need sequels. Alien, Ghostbusters, Twisters, Mad Max, The Crow. What year is it? Is it 1995 and we're going to Blockbuster? Or are you actually expecting me to pay $82 to take my family to see yet another Transformers origin story, but this one's animated to look more childlike than the Minions films? And if these hackneyed sequel bait cinema options aren't enough, don't worry, because the other options might be even worse. Madam Web, another attempt for Sony to launch an MCU clone. Blink Twice, Zoe Kravitz's debut as a writer-director where she lets you know just how much she despises men. Good luck, Channing Tatum. Argyle, angry cat ladies can be James Bond too. Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter wants to work in Hollywood. And Borderlands. Cate Blanchett was horribly miscast to play a 20-year-old in a stick-it-to-capitalism girl-boss action film that I believe has finally marked the beginning of the cascade downward of Kevin Hart's career. But Wizard, the year isn't over yet. Aren't there still films yet to come out? Ah, yes, you mean like Red One, a Christmas action adventure that looks like the kind of movie you would see on in the background of other movies. Venom the Last Dance, Kraven the Hunter, Mufasa. Ooh, say it again.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Are you excited for any of these? Honestly, maybe Sonic the Hedgehog 3 stands a chance at being good. But if it's anything like the awful Knuckles show from Paramount Plus, we're cooked, boys. GG. So, alright, the movies aren't original, but that's nothing new. They're not creative, they're not even good most of the time, and to make things worse, they're being written from a place of aggressive negativity towards the paying audience, because Hollywood hates the general public. And as a member of the general public, that takes us collectively to a place where we have to say, Hollywood has failed us. What are we supposed to do now? Hello, my friends, and welcome to The Pondering. I am the real-life fake wizard. If this video brings you any value at all, I invite you to subscribe to this channel where we're posting new videos just about every day. I want to take some time to really emphasize where we are at as a collective creative culture. The movies are not making as much money as they used to. Audiences are rejecting the drivel studios are cranking out. Movies cost more to make than ever before. And these issues aren't just for movies. Streaming and television is in the same boat, and AAA video games are flopping almost every week now. And all of the writing for these movies, TV, and games are being penned from an emotional position where the writers hate the general audience. They hate the general ticket purchasing audience. Media production of the West has been handed to creatives who have $100,000 liberal arts degrees with minors in interpretive dance that hate themselves, hate the world, and hate the audience that they're supposed to be writing for. Joker 2 is a wonderful example of this. The first film cleared $1 billion and won lots of awards, but the depiction of the clown prince of crime's distaste for a corrupt society and uprising to villainy was received antithetically to the way the original creators wanted you to receive it. You weren't supposed to empathize or sympathize with this Arthur Fleck murderer who was lied to and abused by near everyone in his life. He's a murderer. He's a bad dude. He doesn't stick to the status quo. You're not supposed to care about him. He's the villain. And so, to punish you for enjoying the sentiments of the first film, in this sequel, Arthur was revealed to not only not be the real Joker, but then he's assaulted, humiliated, and then brutally murdered in the end. And that's to stick it to you, dear viewer. We, the writers, hope you give us money, sit through our 3-hour slog, and then drive home and think about what you've done 5 years ago. And all of this to prove that the Joker 2 team failed to understand why the first film worked so well. It wasn't just the good acting or the connections to Batman. Gosh, the original Joker wasn't even an original idea. It was a Taxi Driver ripoff. No, the first film worked because it captured an ideal that has been rising in our culture of anger and nihilism towards our corrupt institutions. Regular folks are sick and tired of having Hollywood, the media, the politicians, and their corporate overlords talking down to them from some place of fake moral superiority. So that's the writers in a nutshell. The next layer of this creative hierarchy is the actors and directors who, again, from a place of self-believed moral superiority, think they have the right to talk down to their general audiences. They have no idea who the average Western Joe is, and they don't care. They don't know who you are, what you look like, what you believe in, or what you stand for. And that doesn't matter to them, because they think they're better than you. And so because they think they're better than you, they also think you must agree with everything they say by association. But there are even more layers to this creative onion, because above the actors and directors are the marketing professionals. And the marketing people are very similar to the writers. They fall into similar belief categories. But unlike the writers who hate you, the marketers take it a step further, and they pretend you don't exist. And so they feed these lies to the people inside the organizations and the higher corporate managers we haven't covered yet about these faux target markets that they should be creating and catering media for. These mystical audiences of a sort that share similar beliefs and ideals to themselves and the writers. And these mystical audiences, like unicorns, are not real. And they never show up to buy the products that are made specially for them. Because they're not real. These marketing professionals, and I put journalists into this category too, because journalists are just salespeople who don't tell you they work in sales, are the same type of people who will say Star Wars isn't for X variable customer anymore, but then complain when no one watches the $300 million Star Wars show. What am I supposed to say? I was the X variable customer. You told me it wasn't for me, so I didn't watch it. Why are you blaming me that it failed? And that takes us to the final tippity top of this food chain here. The corporate executives. This is where it all comes together. If we look back, we can see each part of this hierarchy disrespects you in a different way. Writers hate you, the actors think they're better than you, marketers pretend like you don't exist, and corporate executives, well, they're all of these things just combined. The corporations don't want to know who you are. They don't care. They want you to be faithful consumers. Don't ask questions. Don't get too invested. Just keep the money train chewing ahead. The brain is the obstacle to the wallet. Because if you were thinking, if you truly knew how these corporations hate you, you would think twice before buying their products. Wizard, this is really deep. What the hell are we supposed to do with all of this? What are we gonna do? Fix Hollywood? What can we as consumers actually do? I'm really glad you asked that question, other wizard. There are lots of YouTubers and content creators covering topics like this every day. Some of them articulate similar messages in better or worse ways. And something I believe they don't do enough is to give you guidance on what to do about all of this. Many creators have made entire businesses out of just reading Access Media headlines every day, and it's like, yeah, cool, things suck. What am I supposed to do about it? What should I do with that information? Firstly, seek the truth. Understanding that Hollywood hates you and wants to pretend like you don't exist is very important. Knowing that corporations are not your friend gives you the leverage you need to stop buying their shit. Let them collapse. Let them crumble. The best way to be heard by these corporations, the best way to have a voice, is not by complaining on Twitter, and it's not by making hate content on YouTube. It's by choosing, actively, thoughtfully, to stop buying. Speak with your wallet, even if it's just you, and even if you stand alone. Were you upset that Luke Skywalker was butchered on screen? Or that Han Solo was a walkout father? Indiana Jones failed his family? Galadriel became an insufferable girl boss? John Connor died for nothing? James Bond became a wishy-washy loser? Even Thor was emasculated for sadistic lulls. Are you upset about any of that? If you are, you should also know that Hollywood is laughing at you for being upset. See, as the creatives in the writer's room were deciding on whether or not to murder your heroes, they knew you would be upset. They knew their decisions would be divisive, and they laughed about it. They laugh at how upset you are that your heroes are deconstructed and diminished, but they also laugh that you give them money in order for them to do it. We pay to have entertainment companies laugh at us. Do you realize that? I hope you do. It's why I say part 1 is to seek truth. Knowing that corporations and creatives hate you is an important thing to accept. Part 2 is to seek knowledge. Educate yourself. Hollywood has failed us. Western creatives have failed us. That means we need to learn how to tell stories ourselves. We need to invent the next wave of heroes. We need to define what heroism is. So we need to learn how to do that. Read more books. Poetics by Aristotle, Save the Cat, Impro, Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, The Power of Myth, Hero with a Thousand Faces, The Peregrine by J.A. Baker. Literally any book that teaches communication, because the root of good communication is good storytelling. And to be a good storyteller, you must also learn how to be creative. Think creatively. The best way to learn creativity is to ask more questions. Ask yourself why things happen the way they do. Don't settle for surface-level nonsense. Understand why. Did you know that all problem solving is actually an exercise in creativity? All of it. Every bit. Many of the challenges in your life can be solved by thinking creatively with an open mind. Things are rough. I don't doubt it. It's not easy, and I would never say it is right now. But most of our internal problems that we have day to day can be solved if we just sat on our beds, took a minute, and asked ourselves how to fix it. And then go do it once it comes to you. Part 2, to seek knowledge, goes far beyond Hollywood bullshit. We need to learn how to be better human beings to ourselves and then to each other. I'm so sick and tired of being talked down to as a regular general audience member from corporations, the news, politicians, and then on YouTube you get countless people just trying to cash in on the drama of it all, never telling anyone that there is a way out. And there is. And the way out is for you to go through. Learn more about yourself. Push your boundaries. Challenge the status quo. Everyone complains that they want it to get better, but no one is willing to lift a finger themselves to do it. Part 3 is empathy. Now, empathy is a dangerous tool if used improperly. Like any tool, you could get hurt. So you must be careful about how you do it and how you learn how to do it. My recommendation is to pick up role-playing games. Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, or something that has you working with a team of people to achieve a goal where every participant is a different person with a different background. I made one called Pretend with intent for people to learn empathy through cooperative storytelling. Empathy is the ability for you to hear someone's stories, someone's experiences, someone's challenges, put yourself into their shoes and fully grasp where they're coming from, who they are, what do they want, why do they want that, what experiences have pushed them to a position where these are their desires. And then, once you're able to do that, and you get really good at it, you better understand people. And when you better understand people, you could become a stronger communicator. And if we had stronger communicators among us, we could achieve great things, because it would be easier to find common ground. It'd be easier to strive for common goals. At this point, you're probably wondering, where is this all coming from? Why am I talking about this? Why is the wizard giving me life advice? It's like, yeah, I get it. It's not often an entertainment commentary channel breaks into a Tony Robbins rant. But that's the solution. The media hates you. The corporations hate you. The creatives hate you. The politicians are all corrupt, bought, and paid for. And like I said at the beginning of this video, anger and nihilism is a growing problem. But there is an alternative. You take that anger and you make something of it. You take the challenge that the world around you is a mess, and you do something about it. You better yourself. You challenge yourself to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. These are sentiments I wish more creators spoke about. But the truth is, I'm not sure they believe these sentiments themselves. All of our heroes have been sacrificed, and we financed the companies to do it. We bought the toys, the subscriptions, the movie tickets, and worse than money, we give them our time. We keep giving these companies that hate us our time, and time we don't get back. So now it's time for you to accept the challenge of becoming what our heroes used to represent. Go out and become something of yourself. Stop consuming mindless content. Go learn something new. You know the truth to any hero in literature? The hero doesn't have to win. The hero just has to try. My friends, I want to thank you for joining me for this pondering video. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you're new here and want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button and we'll be posting more soon. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire. May the Force be with you. And for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus. Okay, that's it from me. I'm done.